Hi, this is Timothy Zahn, author of Star Wars Thrawn. You're listening to Living Force Podcast.
You will never have a deeper sleep than curled up in a Wookiee's lap.
Welcome to the Living Force Podcast.
Ready and...
Ready.
A Youtini production.
To bring forth the merchandise.
Episode 11, Conversation with Lacey Gilleran from the Resistance broadcast.
You might want to buckle up, baby.
Find out the origins of hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen.
What did you say?
The Youtini crew plays either or.
Whoa.
And we answer your questions.
I feel great about this plan.
And now, here are your hosts.
Who are these guys?
Dr. Corey Hilton.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
And Eric Eilerson.
You're gonna need a nickname, because I ain't saying that every time.
Oh my god, you're, like, behind you, because I've seen you guys' videos, it just puts us to shame. Well, Corey's okay. I'm in a f***ing dorm room because I'm on an actor contract for the summer, so I didn't get to bring anything. But that is
This
amazing.
is a year in the making. Don't
yes.
don't feel bad. It's been a year.
That was sort of my intention with my semi-new office. I just moved
Yeah.
into this house.
You're too
And
far
my
away. You gotta
wife and
get
I just bought a
closer.
house. I know, but like I tried that, and it's really awkward in the room if
is
I
it?
do that.
Star Wars is awkward, Corey.
Well,
I know.
the funny
It's
thing
true.
is, so I'm on like a temporary table, and my computer is actually probably 8 feet in front of me, but I shoot against the shelf, and then when I'm not there, my computer's over there.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
I should do that.
Yeah,
That
I
would
have
make more
literally,
sense.
my roommates for the summer put this piece of cardboard with like the little like mic foam taped on it with a little blanket that's over my laptop. It is the most janky setup, but I'm proud of it. It's like my own little piece of hell.
Before
I like to think.
we did video, which was like last summer. So the first few months I was on the podcast from like March to July. I do audiobooks on the side. It's like a side project. So I record those in like
totally.
a closet because I made it like a home studio in a closet. So I used to record with James and John in a closet, and they were like, you can't do this when we start doing video. And I was like, all right,
You
I'm
can't
fair.
show people this.
It was like pitch black
looks
and
bad.
then like me in this closet.
Yeah, we have them too in front of like nice offices, and people are gonna think that you just have to like go in a closet in shame.
Yeah. No one knows.
Which is what we make Charles do when he's on the pod.
That is true. That's what Charles does. He's currently recording in a closet.
Nice.
We have all talked about this, and we have set a couple milestones that once we cross, we'll shift into the live stream.
Live stream, wow. We don't even do live stream.
Yeah,
we do
we're-
live to tape.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, we haven't quite decided, so I don't know if we'll go live stream. We have a little bit of experience with live stream because we did a campaign of the Star Wars RPG last year just for fun. The rest of us, we all play, and we kind of we live streamed that, so we have a little bit of the grasp on the technology,
Right.
I think. So we could probably pull it off.
Oh yeah, we have crashed a live stream in every way possible with our
We
tech.
have. Oh my god, that's honestly kind of why we quit. Is it just
Well,
not-
the other
it was
thing
just
about
not
live stream is
reliable.
like, for me at least, when I'm fans of other people, like I'm such a brat in the sense of like, I'll listen to it when I have time. So like my fear is like you do a live stream, you put all this work into it, and then people are like, well, I'm kind of busy right now. Whereas like they'll listen to it on their own time if it's recorded.
Is it going to be on
Well,
YouTube
the nice
later?
thing, exactly. The nice thing about live stream is you can at least kind of
Yes.
save it. So
yes.
that's nice.
Well, that's what we do. We basically
That's-
do that.
that's
So we record ours via Skype, like live. We do it in one take, and then we just put that right up. Like, so it's basically that, but it's just live to tape.
nice. That might work better for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
Maybe we'll live stream it to people that pay us.
Oh, that's a good
Maybe
idea.
We'll do a
Patreon.
Patreon and do
Yeah.
that. We could-
Patreons are the hot
there
thing
we
right
go.
now.
Oh, a girl. Tell us about the girl, hon. Is she nice? Does she have sharp teeth?
But you know what? Right now, we're not making money, and we're not live, but we are the Living Force Podcast, Episode 11, Solo, a Star Wars story. Matt, that's what the sound has to be for this one.
we didn't intend to do that, but it happened.
We're now officially, dude, we're out of movies now. Episode 11.
Officially.
I've used up all the titles. I've used up the anthologies.
This is the third time you said we're out of movies, but this time it's official. We're out of movies.
I just lied to people before that. As your liar and host, my name is Eric Eilerson, and I am here today with Dr. Corey Hilton.
What up? What up?
And we do not have Dr. Charles Henkel today, but we do have the wonderful Lacey Gilleran from the Resistance broadcast. Lacey, welcome.
Hey guys, excited to be here. I really, really am.
Yeah, excited to have you. Now, if you're listening to us and somehow aren't listening to the Resistance broadcast, you're a liar.
I love how you went from I'm a liar to you're a liar. This turned around real quick.
You're a liar, audience. Listen, I love that you're pressing play on your podcast app, but you might be lying to me, and I don't like that with our relationship.
What is happening?
We're devolving, Corey. We're heading towards chaos.
This is the future.
This is our Kessel run. Get ready. But Lacey, for those of people that don't know, what is Resistance Broadcast? What's Star Wars News Network? What is everything that you do?
Yeah, so I am part of the Resistance Broadcast, the official podcast of StarWarsNewsNet.com, which is a big fan site. I joined the podcast in March of last year, so I've been there for a little over a year, and we do 2 shows a week, Monday and Thursday, and it's been really awesome.
Man, 2 shows a week. Corey, what are we doing?
I mean, not that. That's what we're doing.
No, but it's awesome. Your guys' show is really cool. You guys focus on way more than we focus on in this show. As far as news and
okay, you need to stop beating yourself up. This is not how this show's gonna go.
Well, the thing is, I'm gonna start it with low, and then it's gonna get
calling
really
everyone
freaking
liars.
awesome.
You're like, our show's not as
whoa!
good. That's not true. Let's cut that. Cut it.
I'll take it. I am being a little like middle school guy asking someone out, aren't I? I'm like, I mean, I know I'm not like cool, and I know I'm like, you probably hate me, but do you want to like hang out?
I gotta tell you, I've never really heard a terrible Star Wars podcast. I've heard ones that are probably newer to ones that are more experienced, I'd say, but nothing's ever bad.
Sure.
Star Wars isn't bad,
Yeah,
so.
because we're all like, hey, you know what's awesome? Star Wars. Are you in your car in horrible traffic or on a train full of smelly people? Let's talk about Star Wars.
Yeah,
That's all it takes.
Hopefully we're somewhere in the middle of like somewhere between bad and
You guys have
new and,
had
like,
some
not just
crazy
terrible.
guests so far, so you're doing pretty good.
We have. Well, luckily, we have the podcast is new. Youtini is not. We've been around for a good while. We started in 2017, so we've been around a little bit. So we've evolved a great deal since. Because when I first launched this thing, we were doing book subscriptions, like a book box. Like you could sign up and get books every month, and we would shipping them. It was a big mess. So.
And then that first website died in the fire, and we made a new one. We're a phoenix.
It's all about how you get back up.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
That's right.
So before we get into a little bit of meat and potatoes about this episode, Lacey, as another kind of fun intro for our listeners, we've all talked about in our old episodes how we came to Star Wars, how we came to the books and stuff specifically. How did you first get into this crazy world that we all now are absolutely obsessed with?
Star Wars has been a part of my life for a very long time. I started liking it in 2nd grade. I'm from Connecticut, and there's this local store called Stu Leonard's. It's like this dairy supermarket. It's hard to explain, but if you're from Connecticut, you know what I'm talking about. Even New York has one. And they had a movie section, and they had the VHS tapes that Darth Vader was on, and I was standing there looking at it, and I went to my dad, what is this? And he said, Star Wars, and I said, I want it, and then that was it. I was just hooked from the first time I watched it. I really connected with Luke Skywalker and the fact that he was a kid from the middle of nowhere that was searching for belonging and adventure and something else, and as a middle child myself, I was always like grasping for that moment to be the hero, so I just fell in love with Luke, not in like a love way, but like wanting to be Luke. Yeah, that was it. I'm hooked. I've always loved it.
I found that's been me recently, especially with Luke, similar to you. Like when I was a kid, I was all about Luke. He was my guy. Like, who do you want to play? And when you're playing in the yard or whatever. Yeah. And in the past few years, people are like, "Who's your favorite character?" And I'm like, well, I want to be cool. So like, I love Sabine. I love the Rebels crew. And all this stuff is true, but I feel like I keep trying to pretend that Luke's not my favorite, and he just is so good. But I feel a need as like a hardcore fan to name someone that some people might not know.
Yeah, no, Luke is great.
I think
Luke is definitely great, and there's no reason not to like him. I feel like there's some clouds around Mark Hamill / The Last Jedi with Luke, where I feel like people are trying to like take a step back from Luke.
Yeah. Only relatively recently, though.
But I love Kylo Ren. That's like my go-to. If you were to ask me who my favorite character is, everyone knows that. But I have a soft spot for Luke. I mean, I have a like a 3rd grade journal where you put those bios in the beginning, like Lacey loves pizza.
Oh, geez.
And it's like Lacey loves pizza and her hero is Luke Skywalker and she always watches The Return of the Jedi. Like that's what it says in 3rd grade.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
green lightsaber changed my life. I mean, that was the moment. I remember.
Oh yeah, the whole scene on the Java sail barge is just next level. He whips that thing out, he's just killing everybody.
Even
It's
before that, when
fantastic.
he shows up with the hood on and then he like looks up and his face is in the camera, it's like, oh, he means business. Like Luke has changed.
God.
Luke is a boss. Yeah.
He had a glow up, as the kids say. But I'm trying to be hip. I don't think it works as well. But he did. He glue up and he dabbed on the haters. So, moving on from that as fast as I humanly can, I want to talk about something called Star Wars Celebration, guys.
Ooh, good.
Because this past week, at the time of recording, this will come out on July 4th. We're recording a little early. Star Wars Celebration tickets went on sale, and it was madness.
It was madness. I almost didn't get them.
Yeah.
I really came close. I think I was within an hour of not getting them.
Yeah. So
And I was in there within the first 10 minutes too. But I was in the dang queue for like almost an hour. I was in there forever. I was super late for a picnic I was supposed to go to, like a work thing. Super late, but people are texting me, "Did you get the tickets?" Like, I'm glad I've already impressed on them that I'm a diehard Star Wars fan, and they're gonna have to wait for this, and it's just part of it.
Yeah, but you got them.
I did.
I was in a kind of a similar boat. I had a work thing that ended exactly at noon. I got out 3 minutes early for my request and set up 2 devices next to each other. One had a Chrome browser and one had Safari, just to see which one would be faster to get in the queue. And I did get my passes within like 5 minutes, so I don't know what.
I don't know.
Thing
Which
the
one was
algorithm
it?
I got.
Was it Chrome or Safari that got in
Chrome
first?
got it faster.
Okay. Was that the first one you logged it with?
Yep.
I don't know what happened, but we were all in a giant Slack channel together, and like everybody's like, "Oh, I got him! I'm like, I'm still in the queue. I've been here for 40 minutes. What is happening? What is happening?"
Because you just want to refresh at that point. You're like,
I know. I was getting so scared, but then the tickets sold out within like the first hour.
Yeah, they sold out within an hour or two. That's nuts. That's never happened.
Yeah. No, did all the Resistance folks got tickets? I'm hoping and assuming.
Yeah, so we actually, I was in a chat with John and James when the tickets went live, and I had all these pages up ready to go. And I used to work for Celebration for several years, so I was like trying to be like, guys, this is how it goes, trying to be like the expert and like calm them down.
Right.
John has no idea what's going on. James was a little bit more
Bless his
prepared
heart.
because he's more like technical than John. But yeah, James got in super fast, got a VIP ticket, no problem. Yes.
What?
That was in the
Holy
first 3
crap.
minutes.
Yes.
Those sold
He
out.
got one so fast. And then I'm sitting there still in the queue and I'm like, how did this happen? And then I got in before John and I bought his 4-day pass so he could just leave. The funny thing is he's like, can you just get mine? I was like, you're the worst.
Yeah. Eric, I sincerely regret not just buying a ticket for Charles. I sincerely regret it. I should have done it. And
Does he not have one?
Charles he was really on the fence about whether or not he could go. So we're both resident physicians, or we're starting a residency in family medicine. And, well, I don't know if I would go there. We're super busy.
If you're a doctor,
If you're Corey's patient listening, that he's very
patient.
smart.
Yeah, I'm
This
that.
is like the
So
downplay
Charles and I
our
are
smartness, coolness show.
Yes, I'm a doctor in my spare time, and on top of that, so Charles is like a little concerned that we're not going to be able to get leave off, and I like cleared it ahead of time, and everything. I was like, listen, if I get into this residency, you guys have to let me leave a year from now to go to Celebration. And they're like, yeah, fine, you get 17 days to leave a year, it works out. So, but it's really questionable when you first get a new job. Like,
Oh, are you kidding?
just
I started
leave?
a job in
Like,
January, and before I signed the job, I was like, I'm taking off from April 11th to the 14th. I won't be here. Bye. And they were like, okay.
Yeah. That's basically what I did. Charles did not do that. So he was like, I don't know if I can go. We're like, bro, they're going to sell out so fast.
He'll
You
be
got to
fine.
do
There's
it. And
plenty
he
of
was,
time. And what's going to happen is a lot
I
of
know.
podcasts or websites and stuff that get press passes or podcast are going to have tickets that they just want to get rid of.
That's right.
He's fine.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
But oh god, it was one of the most stressful experiences I've had in quite a while.
And I'm someone that's been
It
through
was.
this numerous times for so many different shows, and every time it's just as stressful. And the hotel one was even more stressful to me because I was like, tickets, I could figure it out. I was like, hotels, like, if you don't get in the hotel you want, like, what do you do?
Right.
Oh, yeah. I did an Airbnb in Chicago, and I spent $350 in Uber rides. I kid you not. It was outrageous. So speaking of hotels, shout out to Freddie, our tech guy, one of our tech guys. Holy crap. Eric and he lives like 20 minutes.
Oh,
from
man.
Oh, man. Yeah. So we have a huge remote team at Youtini. They're all over the place. And Freddie is awesome enough to let Eric and I and our significant others, if they're with us that long.
I bought her a ticket, so...
Well,
Yes,
at
I
least
did
Charles
too,
is a
so-
backup ticket if you're not with her later.
That's right.
It's all for you,
God.
buddy. We know you're listening.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So he's kind enough to let us stay with us, and he really jumped the gun. We have been planning on doing like a big Youtini get together because none of us have ever met ever. Like,
John,
we've all
James,
worked
and I
remotely
hadn't
forever.
met before. Well, John and I have
perfect.
because we live 20 minutes from each other, which is totally weird because we didn't know that. But James, John, and I had never been in the same place until Celebration, where we were all there to do a panel. Like, we had never met each other.
That's
It was the
amazing.
most bizarre but like awesome thing.
It is so cool.
Yeah.
Yes, it is so awesome. I got to meet Eric didn't get to go to Chicago this year. He had another work thing going on. It was awesome. I got to meet Carl and Meg. Those are two members on our teams. The first few folks I've met. It was super awesome. So we're planning a big get together because a very large number of Youtini folks got tickets this year. So we're going to plan a big after party. I think we're really going to try to go out with it. And we have a relatively decent sized following of fans that are probably going to go to Celebration, which Eric I think is going to go into here in a minute. And so we're going to try to do a big Youtini meetup. So if you're listening and you got tickets to Star Wars Celebration, be on the lookout because we're gonna throw a big party. We might do a brewery, we might do an event hall. I don't know what we're gonna do yet, but we'll probably go out at a restaurant or something. So we got drinks.
That week is gonna be nuts.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
If you guys are listening and you want to see what I was like in my college drinking days, you're gonna get it. Because
It's funny you
we
say
should
that because
record-
that's how it was at Celebration. Everyone's like, well, if I'm gonna go, this is the week I'm gonna do it. And I was like,
the thing
Yeah,
is, like,
exactly.
so I am from Chicago now. Like, I live there, and I was actually doing a show in Alabama during
I was
Celebration.
gonna say, so you live in Chicago and you didn't get to go?
It's so stupid.
Because I had
so stupid.
The thing is,
he had tickets and he sold them. I'm so mad at him
to do
still.
a play. So, but I did it once, and the last time it was at Celebration in Orlando. Before that, right? Wasn't that
Yeah,
the
so
Yep.
it
So,
was Anaheim
2017.
2015, 2016 was London, 2017 was Orlando, and 2019 was Chicago.
Yeah, 2017. I was like at the page thinking about it, and then I didn't. Then this year, I got my ticket. I was so excited. Then I got a show, and I was like, I gotta do it. It's my career. And then I sold it. So this time, I was like, this is the third time I've been meaning to go to Celebration. I'm going. I don't know what would make me not go to Celebration. Like, I can't even say, like, the only thing is this, because the limit does not exist.
Yeah, I don't know. It would take a lot to get me not to go to, especially if we have a big event and we like have a live recording of the drunk living force.
Yes. Oh God. Because so we put up a poll on our Twitter during the ticket buying frenzy because I wanted to know what members of our listening audience were going to Celebration. So according to that, 52% of you are going. Awesome. We'll see you there. 39% are not. And 9% of you are still stuck in the queue. So I hope that...
Do you know does it tell you how many people took the poll?
It does, but I'm just going to say it was like roughly 5,000.
I don't think that's
It
true.
was like 30. But at least 15 of those people are going. So,
It was like a million people. It was like super.
It was
violent.
probably all Youtini people.
it was every Star Wars Celebration ticket holder.
I'm pretty sure. That's why 39% of them are not going, right?
Exactly. So if
52% of the time, 100% of the time.
Exactly. Well, if you're listening and you're going, come say hi to us. Obviously, we have so much time until Celebration, which we are going to be thinking about every day
Which
until
is such
then.
a letdown, right?
But
Now you have to wait
Yeah.
and wait.
over
It's
a
so
year.
far away. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. But
So
we'll be there.
how many times have you been, Lacey? Did you say
Yeah,
that
so
earlier?
I've been to 2015, 2016, 2017, 2019, and now this one.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Wow.
That's amazing. Freddie on our team has been he's the guy that lives in Anaheim we're staying with. He has been like
the Denver ones, like Mud,
like all the way back, all the way back. Yeah. So he said, because we recapped, like it was unbelievable. It was my first.
It was
time
unreal. It was like
Chicago.
literally one of the best weekends of my life.
He says that never goes away. Is that true?
So it's hard to say because for 2015 and 2016 I worked it, so it's a different situation. I mean, they were still my favorite show to work because I used to work for Reed Pop, but the 2017 was a little crazy. It was my first one as a fan, and like somehow I helped out working one day. I was like, it was really weird. That was fun, but then this one was like a whole different ball game for me because I was a fan still, but then I was a podcast and I had a panel, and I'd never been on a panel before, so it was like very nerve-wracking. But it was just super fun. Everyone was so nice. Everyone I met was awesome. I'm really sad I didn't get to see you guys, but there was just so much going on.
Were you at the podcast meetup at that hotel?
At the Hyatt? Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was at. You look kind of familiar. Did I meet you?
Yeah, I mean, maybe in passing.
Do I look familiar at all?
No, I met.
I've changed a lot. I had LASIK eye surgery, so I don't wear glasses anymore, and I grew a beard.
Oh.
So.
Corey, I think frankly, dude, you're utterly forgettable.
Hey!
I think that might be.
I walked around with like business cards, and I introduced myself to a lot of folks at that because
I should go through my box and see if I have your business card because I haven't.
You should look and you can see you do look familiar.
I'm sorry if I did. It's not personal. I just
no, I don't remember anybody that I met. I had to go back and look at all the cards myself to figure out who I met.
Just so many people were like, I'm this person, and I'm like, I love everyone, and like I gave out a lot of hugs, and like I'm not a hugger. Like that weekend, it was just like you get a hug, and you get a hug, and you get like Oprah.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
And 2020 is going to be that even more because we're going to be living in the after effects of Rise of Skywalker. We're going to know Ben Demption. We'll already get the Solo 2 announcement. So we'll all.
I wonder do you think the timing of Anaheim celebration has anything to do with like their future plans? You think they did it late because of that, or is it literally just because like they decided last minute to do a celebration in 2020? And
no, I think
last
they're
minute.
doing
I don't think it's ever a thing.
I think they're doing it in 2020 because it's the off year of D23. So I think they're going to start doing them every other year. So then 1 year will be 23.
But why August? Why so
because
late
that's
in
when
the year?
they do D23 is July August. So they'll switch off between D23 and Star Wars Celebration, and then Star Wars Celebration will fall on the years that movies are happening.
That makes sense.
I like that.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's probably it.
Well, I can't wait to go. I can't wait to officially meet you guys and meet a bunch of people that are listening and meet a bunch of people that I talk to on Twitter every day. Like, it's going to be a ridiculously amazing time, but I have to measure it because I can't feel this level of anticipation for a year and a half. So I'm gonna try to like breathe.
A year from now, he's gonna be like,
maybe?
guys, I'm gonna sell my tickets. We're gonna be like,
if you do that, Eric, I'm kicking you off the team. I'm kicking you off the podcast. I'm gonna blacklist you. We're never gonna speak to you ever again.
That's actually what might happen. But until that moment, we're gonna keep talking about Star Wars here and about the stuff that we're excited about before Celebration. So in that totally natural segue, Lacey, I want to ask you about something that is close to your heart. Is close to our hearts, is close to, frankly, everyone that has a living pulse's heart, or it should be, and that is hashtag Make Solo 2 happen. For those of us listening that aren't aware of what that really obvious hashtag might mean, what is Make Solo 2 happen? Why do you feel the desire to keep it spreading, and why is it seemingly more popular now than it's ever been?
So Make Solo 2 happened when one day in August of last year or September, John Hoey was like, you know what, guys, we all really loved Solo. I'm going to start using the hashtag Make Solo 2 happen, and we're going to start talking about how we want a second one. And we went, okay. And James Bainey made a logo for it, and it just started this thing that we would always talk about it. And we would talk about it on the show about how we wanted a second movie or a TV series or anything, because the movie ends up in such a place that you're like, wait, there's so much left to tell. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
Right. So what happened was a year later from when Solo came out, about, I would say like a month before that, John and James and I were talking, and John was like, hey, the anniversary Solo is coming up. Let's just tweet about it all day one day. Like, let's just tweet about it the week it comes out as like an anniversary, like, hey, this would be awesome. And he was like, let's not do it on the weekend because people have Memorial Day plans, but let's do it like that Thursday when people are at work and they're like talking anyway. So we were like, okay, cool. So like a couple weeks out, we started talking about it, saying, hey, this is the day we're going to do this. Join us if you want. We thought it was going to be like 20 people chatting with us about Solo. And, we woke up that morning and it was already trending and we were like, wait, what? And then by lunchtime, when it had like 10,000 tweets going, we were like, oh, okay, so this is a thing. And then all these other people joined on. I said joined on because I was going to say Jonas. Jonas joined in saying like he's for it. And, John Powell, the composer, said he was for it. John Kasdan tweeted that he was going to talk about the syndicates and like all the other stories to tell, which is nuts to me.
Wow.
And then I was driving home from work that day and I came to a stop sign and there was a lot of traffic. So I quickly checked my phone and I'm getting all these alerts and Ron Howard tweeted us and we were like, what? So
that was incredible. It was incredible.
I know. So I called John just because he was at the top of my phone and I'm screaming at him like, Ron Howard tweeted us. And he's like, what? So then he's yelling and I'm yelling and then it's just yelling. Long story short, it was a perfect day of positivity where people were talking about something that they loved and there was no negativity of, I don't like this and this is why and you suck for liking this and you're the worst. It was just everybody liking it. And even people that didn't like it were like, hey, I'm not a real big Solo fan, but I really like Enfys Nest. I'm not a huge Solo fan, but I really want more Darth Maul. And we were like, great, join us. We want you, come to our side, And so it's one of those things that has gotten so much leverage. And when a bunch of people were at Galaxy's Edge recently, someone saw Alden and said something to him. And he was like, oh, I know about it. Someone emailed me. So the fact that they know about it to me is just crazy. Like, that means probably Bob Iger knows about it because it was trending like crazy for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Long story short, we just want to see it happen. We just want another Star Wars movie. And I don't think it's that difficult. I know people have accused us as working for Disney and there's other motives. There isn't.
Oh, we're all shills. Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, what? Is there money involved? I wish there was.
Can we get paid for this?
Where's the money?
No, it's just a genuine love for that movie that we didn't realize would take off. And I think it's due to the fact that a lot of people and press were talking about how they didn't like it. So that kept people from outwardly saying, oh, I like it because they didn't want to get the backlash from it. So when they were seeing people being like, I love this movie, they were like, you? I do.
Yeah.
You do? You, me? Like the Spider-Man meme. We're like, you, me, you.
You?
Yes.
So, that's what happened. It's been awesome, and we want to see it happen. And if it does, like, I'm pretty sure John Hoey is going to weep big fat tears. Like a baby.
Really, that's what we need.
Deservedly so.
Yeah.
Too, yeah.
I mean,
I totally feel the same way. Like I loved Solo. I mean, I think it was just the timing of it. People were so exhausted already from the backlash that The Last Jedi got that nobody talked about it really. I heard so little about it.
It was
Solo,
so fun. And you know what? The press is part of the problem, to be honest, because
Yeah.
Ron Howard did an interview with Josh Horowitz from MTV on his podcast about how much he loved Solo and how hard it was and like some of the issues he saw, but overall like fans loved it, and he can see a year later that fans love it and it's got this cult following. And yet John and I talked about that one week, and the following Monday all the press was talking about was how he was talking about Trolls. I was like, there's a whole interview there that he talks about how much he loves the movie and all the wonderful things that came out of it.
Sucks.
And you're honing in on this one sentence.
I know.
Yeah.
It sucks so bad.
I mean, that was a huge reason that we started this podcast in the first place, because we realized, you know what? Like, happiness doesn't really get clicks a lot, because you can click on it and be like, yeah, and then you move on, as opposed to if you're angry about something, you're going to share it, because then they're like, yeah, you're right, that does suck. Whereas Solo, I felt, especially over the last year, I've rewatched that probably more than any other film this year, because it's like a perfectly warm bath of a movie. Like, I just kind of sink in.
It doesn't have flaws, not really. Like it's so well made and just flows so perfectly.
You want to go back?
Yeah, I've never smiled more than when he's flying the Falcon with Chewie in the Maelstrom. Like I have a full like Joker crazy person smile on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell friends too, the soundtrack by John Powell is astoundingly good, because the moment when they're in the AT hauler and they just got out of the shower and there's the song that plays as they're going over the mountaintops, there's a French horn bit that's like 8 seconds long, and I'm like, that French horn bit is Star Wars. Like that little bit is the isolation of what it feels like to be in Star Wars. And it's things like that, those loving touches in that movie. I mean, I don't want to go back to Star Wars before Enfys Nest and Kira existed. That, it's just great. It's great. And I think that one of the reasons that I'm so glad we got to have you on to talk about it is that I do still feel like there's this weird idea in Star Wars fandom that you need a reason to talk about Solo. Like, you'll talk about Jedi, we're talking about Empire anytime, anywhere, that's fine. But I still feel like, you're right, there's a subconscious need for fans to talk about Solo. Oh, because it's the anniversary, and because there's another reason.
Yeah.
Like, we're still not quite allowed just to love it.
I talk about it all the time, so if you want to talk about it...
Yes! Which is, you're our gateway drug in talking about Solo all the freaking time.
I think Solo in from the cinematic perspective in the movie community was I think sort of a failure to Disney, which sucks, because it was just not the moneymaker.
It still made more money than Ant-Man.
That's
exactly
fair. That's fair. And I hope that I hope that it doesn't really just seal the coffin.
I don't think
thing
so.
On these types of movies,
They're making a
movies
Willow.
going forward,
They're making all these other things. There are so many movies in the history of cinema. There are so many movies that failed at the box office. From Wizard of Oz, Shawshank Redemption, Raging Bull. There's so many movies that failed that are now classics. So,
well, Empire was poorly received when it first came out.
Yeah,
and it's universally understood as being the quote unquote best Star Wars film now. So, yeah, people are, I think, going to look back 10 years from now on Solo and Last Jedi with completely different eyes. But what I was going to say is Solo is, I think, our glimpse in what the future of Star Wars probably looks like. I mean, we have new music, from someone other than John Williams. Because he's got to move on. He's getting up there in years, and I don't know if he wants to work on this forever. And so we got new music. We have a completely different angle. We have origin stories of characters that have never been told before, and I think it's the future of Star Wars. So we have no idea what's going to happen after the Skywalker saga is over. And I hope anything we get is even close to Solo. Then I'm going to be ecstatic, because it was amazing.
Absolutely, and I think one of the cool things that Solo did was really bring in more EU material, because it's like seeing the EU on screen almost, right? And one thing I want to get both of your opinions on is Solo as it kind of related to the new canon, right? Because obviously here at Living Force, we are all about the new canon and Legends respectively. We love them both. But when Solo came out, it had the 3 main books, right? With Last Shot, Most Wanted, and the Solo novelization released right around it. And do you guys think that Disney was kind of trying out a new way of releasing books as related to movies? Because they were all a little more integrated with that movie than, say, even some of the Journey 2 novels have been with, like, Lost Stars and things like that. Do you think that those movies, or those books and stuff, enhanced the experience of Solo for people? Or do you think that it was still kind of just, like, the books and movie are pretty separate?
I think that the books and movies are always going to be a little bit separate, only because you can't expect the general audience, like my dad, to go read the books. So there's always going to be a little bit of a gap. That being said, I think they were able to release so many books with Solo because it was new. Even though it's Han Solo, it's a new story to tell. And I think there's a lot of pressure that surrounds the saga series and the way it has to be told. Yeah. So that's why The Last Jedi came out in March after the movie had already come out. But I mean, I'm going to be honest. I haven't read Most Wanted, but I read Last Shot, and like I wasn't the biggest fan of that book only because of the switching perspectives every other chapter. I like couldn't keep up.
I think that was our team's sort.
Yeah, I was saying we're about the same. Whereas I got to say, Most Wanted is the only book in my life I've read in one sitting without putting it down.
I got to get into it then. I got to try it out because I just haven't had the chance.
It was night and day. It was night and day different than Last Shot. Yeah. Last Shot, the only thing it had in common with the film was that it had Han Solo and Lando in it.
Well, and L3, the first L3 appearance.
And L3, that's true. L3 also. But I don't feel like she was, even though she was, anyway, we won't go into that. Yeah. Most Wanted is the prequel to to the Solo
And
movie.
if you love Kira before, it's a Kira book with Han in it, essentially.
Oh, awesome.
It is, and it's It's very, very good. Most Wanted was amazing. It's probably it could give Lost Stars a run for its money as being the best, one of the best young adult books that have been released since we've done the new canon thing in 2012.
That's awesome.
But,
yeah.
It had the whole solo book series was the first time we, like you said, had a big marketing push around a film that actually had the stuff that actually made sense for the movie. It had effects on the movie. Like it's almost like they're afraid to touch the Skywalker saga in the books right now. I hope that changes. I hope it changes after the saga is over and stuff. And
do you not think you don't think they're going to make a 10?
No. I think we're done with numbers.
I don't know. Who are we to speculate? I don't know. Who knows? But I do know that they've been preaching about it and marketing it like it's going to be the end.
The finals, so.
Yeah.
But this is they've done it before.
But I'll say I think what I hope that they do more with their future films and future projects, even like Disney Plus films that I assume they're going to make as well for that service, is do what they did with Solo, where they released Last Shot before the movie. So you got a little bit of young Han's voice, you got a little bit of L3, and then you saw the movie, and you're like, oh, okay, those people. And then Most Wanted came out the week after, I think. So then you got the prequel to the characters you had just seen.
Right.
And I think that was a really cool sandwich of release. And I hope that they're not afraid to do that. With, Resistance Reborn, right? That's the one that's coming out this fall. That's between 8 and 9. That's crazy.
That's the first time it sounds like they've touched stuff that has to do with the films, which is
because supposedly it's a year, right? That's between 8 and 9.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're giving me some more smoky-eyed looking into the distance Oscar Isaac Poe Dameron in my life before that film. Give it to me. I'm all about it. But speaking of that future of Star Wars, I have a little mini game I want to play with you two, and it might be a little difficult, and it's all about what we think the next projects regarding Solo should be. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get another Youtini member to tell us all about their favorite Star Wars project, and we'll be back with Corey and Lacey in just a sec.
Hey, this is Stacy. I write for Youtini as well as help with database work and posting to social media. I researched for months what kind of book I wanted to read as my first Star Wars book, and I settled on The Courtship of Princess Leia, because I wanted to know more about how Han and Leia got started after the movies. I was not expecting to get the story that I got. It was such a quick, fun read with lots of action and not as much romance as you would assume from the title. It is still one of my very favorites, and I recommend it to everyone, whether or not you've read any other books or watched movies. It's just a really great book, and if you haven't read it, you definitely should.
All right, and we're back. That was an okay clip, I think. It did its job. It did its job well, but I can't say it was my favorite ever.
I hope it's you. I hope you're the one that recorded it.
Corey makes fun of me every week because I always say that they're the best clips we've ever gotten. So maybe I tried something different, Corey. I want to give another flavor for the listening crowd. But now for this part of the show, I want to put you guys in the producer's chairs. You are in charge of Disney right now. Congratulations on your promotion and your giant bags of money.
I'm rich.
You did it. And on your desk are 2 folders, right? And they say, this is what we're going to make. If we make one folder, we burn the other one. It does not exist. All right?
Okay.
First 2 folders are a Solo 2 feature film starring Han, right? So this isn't your only Maul Kira film. Han is still the focus. Or an 8-episode Disney Plus series also starring Han.
What Kira? Where's she?
I mean, she can be in these, but it's they're still. It's not it's not a Maul Kira series. It's still following Han.
Series.
That's a.
No, it's easy. Do you want 8 hours of Han or 2 hours of Han?
Ooh.
Well, we don't have a live action series though yet, so I don't know what we're comparing to. It's
I take the series after based on what they've done with Jessica Jones, because Disney's somewhat involved with that and all that other stuff. I'm in.
But what if it's a season 8 of Game of Thrones?
I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I have nothing to base that on, and I'm going to go with the fact that I want more Han Solo, so I'm taking the series.
All right.
I will also take the series because like you can't beat the argument of having like 10 hours.
Because even
of
if
content
1 hour
versus...
is bad, that's still 7 more hours of Han.
That's true.
That's true. And if like the first third of the movie's bad, that's a third of the rest of the Solo you get.
I know. And if even the tiny amount of leaked footage that we have seen about the Mandalorian is a credit,
I've seen it. I was in the room. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was so pissed. I was not in the room in Chicago. Everybody booed outside of the main stage.
I heard that because John Favreau didn't even want to show anything.
Any of it?
No,
yeah,
they forced him to do it. He didn't want to do it. So what happened in the live stream? They didn't like brief him at all. I don't think, and like before he got on stage to announce it all and everything. So
he said, "Here's a clip," and then it just went black.
Yes, he goes. All right, he goes. All right, he's like, all right, bye to the live stream. He didn't pause long enough for them to close out the live stream and stuff. And we're all at like the Star Wars stage at the main,
right? Because there's a delay.
And he goes, and he's like looking around. He's like talking in his ear. He's like, all right, are they gone? All right, who's ready to see some real footage? And then it goes black, and I'm like, what? And everybody's like, boo! It was like we were like, come on,
I didn't even know that
because
John, James, and I were all in the room.
Yeah. And unfortunately, nobody at all whipped out their phone and uploaded that to YouTube.
Some people did.
Where we could see
I called some people
totally
out for doing it because John Favreau said, please don't put that online. But they took it down.
They did it anyway.
Yeah.
Those people suck because they did it and because John Favreau said they shouldn't, but I'm also still pissed about the fact that they wouldn't show it to the rest of us, so I'm glad that they did it.
And I totally get that, but my whole thing is like if the creator says, hey guys, please don't post this, then don't post it.
I know.
They absolutely shouldn't.
They shouldn't have forced him to show
I'm
the
sure
footage
you're going to get that footage out of D23. I 100% believe that.
I hope so. I hope we get a full trailer. I really hope we do, and there's some real stuff. And anyway, if the Mandalorian, the small amount that we have, is any testament to what that Solo series would look like, then gimme. And I don't think that they're really opposed to doing that.
No, honestly. I don't think so. So follow up then. Good. I take that folder. I say excellent. Everything looks good. Here's your millions of dollars. What's your story? If you have 8 episodes, we want one overall arc. We don't want a bunch of vignettes, right? Is he going back to Lando for some reason? Is it going to be involved with Crimson Dawn? Is it a whole nother heist? Is it involved with Enfys Nest Rebellion stuff?
I think it has to be Han goes to work for Jabba, but then gets caught up in the bigger argument or the bigger fight between the syndicates with Crimson Dawn and the Hutts and...
I love that.
I was kind of go down that route also, like the crime route. I think they should probably avoid the rebellion.
I want Puppet Jabba. Give me Puppet Jabba.
Yes.
That's all I want.
Yes, and what's his creepy little dude that laughs?
Salacious Crumb.
Yes, give me Salacious Crumb, man.
Dude,
give me him.
I mean, honestly, if the Crispin novels are any indication, like, when you write the Hutt cartel properly... It's a terrifying crime syndicate, and it's a fascinating thing.
They threw people to a monster. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. That's horrible.
For yucks. They were like, here you go, dead.
Yeah. And maybe bring in... and Crimson Dawn has the Maul thing, and, like, then we have the whole, does Kira come in the room? Does she stay to the side? Does Han think she's dead? Like, I think there's a whole fun drama to play with that, absolutely. So, like, the War of the 5 Syndicates... playing out over an 8-episode series.
That would be fantastic.
Bob Iger, we know you're listening. We appreciate it. We appreciate your support. Thank you very much. There you go. We did it for you.
I want royalties.
It'd be great. All right. So, Battle of the 5 Syndicates is coming to Disney Plus 2022. Well done.
I honestly think they're going to announce a Solo series spring of next year.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't. Like...
I mean, we have the Mandalorian, we have Cassian. Both of those are back to back. They're dark and gritty. Solo fits that bill very well,
and that's going to drive fans to Disney Plus. That's my whole thing. Is like when they're not sitting in the theater. I mean, JJ released an interview today. I forget who it was. I feel like it was with the New Yorker, where he said, you know, people are viewing content differently than they were in 2015 when The Force Awakens came out. They want stuff on demand. They're making choices on what they want to see. And Disney Plus is that opportunity for Disney to give the fans what they want. I mean, they saved Clone Wars. That's all I'm going to say. They saved Clone Wars. So they even promoted that as, we saved it for you. I can't see them not saving Solo at this point.
Which was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Now, I'm going to give you guys a couple more folders here. Around this launch of our ridiculously successful Disney Plus Solo series, we want to put a book out. But we only have money for one book. And the two choices are, an Enfys Nest book by Beth Revis, who wrote Rebel Rising, or a Crimson Dawn book by Mur Lafferty, who did the solo novelization?
I'm going Crimson Dawn.
You want that book? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Crimson Dawn too because I want to know how bad they are.
Yeah, me too. That was in my opinion not very well alluded to in the film. So like I would love to see I want to see how evil they are because like we got a little glimpse into you know in his red face and like the lighting up of his scars, which was never explained, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see some of that stuff explained. That would be great.
Yeah. Now, do you guys think that how long, in your own opinion, has Maul been involved with Crimson Dawn?
Oh
like,
my gosh.
is he been the reason that they're like really intense, or have they always been kind of evil and he just kind of slid in as a shadow benefactor when Dryden Voss was already kind of running stuff?
I think he started it. There's a reason he's at the top.
Yeah, I would say that after that arc in the Clone Wars, after he fought the Emperor, like, I mean, he probably tried to like lay low for a while. So if he was gonna, I don't know if he could just waltz in and like take out the heads of this crime syndicate like he did the first time,
True.
The second time, probably not. So
yeah, and I'd love to see like when did Maul meet Dryden Voss? Like, was he just a society man that eventually met up with Maul and realized he could do this, or was he, you know, a slum kid? And he actually got to raise him as something respectable, and that's where, like, the little scar on his forehead comes from. You know, is it a past life of violence or whatever that is?
Well, you know why they have those markings on his face, right? Because he was so good-looking that he was... No, I'm not even kidding. He was too good-looking, and Ron Howard was like, he's too good-looking, we need to make him look bad. So they CG'd those things in, so when he gets angry, they get
Really?
bright.
Wow.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, well,
that's amazing.
In the novelization, Mur Lafferty does something really awesome in addressing the passenger, she calls it, which is like his, you know, his inner anger and stuff that comes out. And Kira's the one that kind of like, you know, she Black Widow Hulks him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could see that in the
bringing him
movie
down.
where she like kind of like puts her hand on his back, which makes me kind of go, ugh, but she puts his hand
Oh, yeah.
on his back. She's
Oh,
like
yeah. And I think
comforting
that-
her abuser. But yeah, no, the marks on his face are because the actor Paul Bettany's so good looking that they were like, he's too good looking to be the bad guy. We need to make him less good looking.
Paul Bettany
amazing.
is so hot, he changed the history of Star Wars. That's incredible.
That's amazing.
Dude, put that on his epitaph.
So funny.
Yeah, I think it is really, really cool. Like, have this book about Crimson Dawn, and you can also go eras with it. Like, part 1 is all pre-Solo happenings. Part 2 is post-Solo with Kira Maul, and part 3, like, does Kira stay until she's older and then kind of try to take it down from the inside as like her last act or something? Like,
That'd be
like I said, like,
cool.
That being said, if I don't get more Enfys Nest content, I don't know what I'm going to do, guys. Like, you introduced this character. She's amazing. Yeah. She's interesting. She's mysterious. And
she has ties to, like, the big picture, too, which is important. And that's the only tie that Solo has to the big picture.
True.
So
put Enfys Nest and Bail Organa in a room, you cowards. Do it. And with Sabe for good measure. Why not? All right. Last question I have for you guys in this little mystery round of ours. Do we think that the end of Solo, when Lando goes off into the jungle, presumably, and Han leaves with the Falcon, is that the last time they see each other before Empire? Is that the big, what are you doing, you pirate? Or whatever, like, is that the anger that he
that was a
still
long
has?
time ago.
Yeah, or is there another mission that we're missing?
No, I think they see each other again in Last Shot.
No, that's after Ben is born, isn't it?
No, but
That part-
there's flashbacks to where they're together.
With Fies and Gore for the first time?
I think so. Is that not?
Are they? Yeah,
Because
they're
they
together.
meet in
That's right.
Solo.
Is that when they're young? Right.
And then they hang out together during Last Shot, but then they also have a Uncle Wanwo Flash forward.
I guess that is after. That would be after.
I thought they only hung out during the wedding. You're right. God, I need to reread that book.
No,
I know,
but I'm saying
it's been a
that's why I
long
didn't
time.
like it, because it's so confusing. Because it would be like,
Yeah,
old
I know,
Han,
that was the
which, by the
universal
way, I
complaint.
adored those parts where old Han is like
Yeah,
grappling
they
with
were
my
great.
father, and Ben is
That
so
was amazing.
adorable.
Ben's kicking him in the head when he's trying
The
to
coffee
sleep.
maker tries to kill him. It's like really great, but then
That's beautiful stuff.
But like
then
the stuff that flashes back, like
confusion.
where Han's at Maz Kanata's place and she's talking to him and he's really upset, which you'd assume is because of Kira.
Yeah.
And some other
It's
rando.
confusing.
Yeah. Well, then
That's true. They do meet up there for a short while. I haven't read that book because
It's so
we weren't
confusing.
huge
It's
fans
so
of it. We weren't huge fans of it.
Yeah, but now, so better question then, which was going to be the follow up to a good question, but it's a follow up to a question that doesn't deserve to be asked anymore. Is that the last time Han and Kira see each other at the end of Solo? Do you think?
Well, right
Because-
now, because that story hasn't been told yet.
Sure, canon wise,
Right,
yeah.
right. But to
Probably
me, I
not.
think I love the idea that it's the last time that Han sees Kira, but it is not the last time that Kira sees Han.
Oh.
I think that she is always, for
Watching
the
him?
rest of... Yep, she's always making sure Crimson Dawn never quite catches up to him. The intel for what
Interesting.
planet he's on is always just like one system off. I think that she's
Interesting.
always gently pushing, and maybe there's a moment where like they're on the same planet and she sees him in a crowd, but she's like, he can't see me or else I know he'll come get me and try to save me, and I don't need that.
That's really sad.
Yeah. That's where my brain went after that movie.
Eric works in theater. He has a taste for this.
I do love
you just have
that
to get used to it.
Han, John Kasdan did at the digital release. He did those like 60 things to know about Solo, which I reread recently because we talked about John on our episode that's coming out soon, or now has been out. And
Yeah, time's weird.
it has been out. So he mentions that and this is one of the things I love about these kind of movies, is that he mentions that the thermal detonator thing that Leia does in the Return of the Jedi is actually from the rock moment he did with Kira, and he tells Leia, and that's why Leia does it. I love that.
That's
I love
amazing.
that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And there was something like that happened in the arc of Clone Wars I just recently rewatched, the Zygerian Slaver arc, where Anakin puts the lightsabers in R2, and then he gives him the signal to pop him out.
Yes.
And I'm like, did R2 come up with the plan in Jedi and say, hey, if you do this, I think it'll work?
I mean,
Because
he's a
that's what his
mastermind.
dad
I
did.
wouldn't put it past him to be like, yo, give
Yeah.
me your stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
guys, it's like poetry. It
Yeah.
rhymes. You know? Love that. All right, Bob, again, you're still listening. You're welcome. You're welcome to all of this. Cool. Well, hey, before we get into our last part of this episode, we have an audience question that I would love, Lacey, if you're up for it, I would love to throw out an audience question for the three of us. This was from Andrew Bell on Twitter. He asked us, what are our respective favorite canon and Legends EU characters? Now, because Charles is not here, I will answer for him. His favorite canon character is Jar Jar Binks, specifically in Aftermath, and his favorite Legends character is Corran Horn.
Did he really say
No,
that?
those are both absolute lies, but aren't they funny, Corey, if you
Oh,
don't step on
no,
the bit?
they're not funny at all.
All right,
I don't like Corran Horn. He's a disgusting human being.
I know, but let's go around each one at a time. First of all, Lacey, being the guest, we'll start with you.
I want
If
to
you
go
had to
last.
pick
I like
one-
hearing other people's
You want
options.
to go last? You know what? I'll defer to that. I like that. I like that power move. Corey, favorite canon character. There, Andrew is waiting for your answer with bated breath. They cannot have appeared in any other media, so not in a main movie. Your favorite canon character.
God, there's so many really great canon characters. I really like Eli Vanto a lot from the Thrawn trilogies. Lacey, have you read the Thrawn books? Okay, so Eli is kind of a fan favorite right now. He's this sort of, for anybody who hasn't listened, this is important for you as well, or you haven't read those books, it's important for you as well. Eli is sort of like he's a good friend. He befriends Thrawn, and Thrawn kind of like looks out for him as they're like going through the Imperial Academy, and he's such a happy-go-lucky character that's just like along for the ride with Thrawn. And he disappears like in the books and like goes off on some mission that Thrawn has sent him off on. And allegedly he's coming back for the next Thrawn book that's about to come out. And he's a great character. Everybody really liked him. There were cheers in the audience at Celebration when Timothy Zahn announced that Eli's coming back.
Oh,
it was
nice.
pretty cool. So
I remember
I've always loved Eli.
I remember being in the room when they announced Thrawn was in Rebels with Dave Filoni, and people lost it.
Yeah. So he's a great character. Legends, I don't know. I don't know if I can just come up with one. I wasn't prepared to answer this.
Well, here we'll both do canon, and then we'll come back to you by that point for your Legends character.
Okay.
I'll go. I gotta say, Will Lark from Alphabet Squadron, man. This guy, as I said in my review that's on Youtini.com right now, he kind of changed a lot of things within me. He was a character that really struck me pretty intensely. I loved everything about him from the moment I met him. The way he looks at the world is so unique in the Star Wars universe. Like, he's an optimist, yet he's also a really effective pilot. He loves his friends, but he's also not naive. And just, if you've read Alphabet Squadron, I hope you agree with me. And I've seen a lot of things, especially on Twitter, of people loving Will a lot. And he just really hit my heart. So if Will Lark ever showed up in something else, I would maybe faint and die. And I think that is my criteria for my favorite canon character.
Die. Okay.
I'm very dramatic, Corey. All right. Lacey,
so
thoughts?
you mean canon characters that aren't in the movies?
Yeah.
All right.
And we can't, and I'll extend that to, like, if there's like a Rebels character as well. We can throw that in there.
I kind of really liked Peepka in...
Peepka! Yeah!
In the solo novel. It was just so... I just love the idea of an Ewok being like a hacker that like...
I forgot about
like
Peepka.
when they...
He was such a smart aleck the whole time. When they announced that character,
everyone was like, wait, what? Because Ewok went from being like, each, to like, let me just break into the mainframe. So
he's a computer nerd.
I'm gonna go with that one.
That is great. God, I haven't thought about... Well, I thought about Peepka last month because someone was at Galaxy's Edge, and in the app that you can get, like, apparently you get these messages from characters, and Peepka sent a message on their phone. And I can imagine someone that's maybe seen the original trilogy once is like, what? What is this? Like an Ewok can talk?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Corey, bringing it back to you, man. Your Legends. What do you got?
So I don't have a single favorite Legends character, but I always really like the solo children in the Legends book. So Anakin, Jason, Jaina. I first got into Star Wars books with the Legacy series. You guys have heard me say that before, and it's really all about the solo children. It's about Jason's fall to the dark side and stuff. And I've always loved their characters. And Ben Skywalker. If we go into Legends, Ben Skywalker is kind of in there in the mix with them, honestly. And all of those characters were pretty close to my heart. So those were great. If you haven't read the Legacy series, do it. It's fantastic.
Children of Legends, love it. I'm gonna go kind of cliche here, and I'm going to say Revan. Having just played KOTOR for the first time this year, and having read the Revan novel, that I think I am one of 6 people that really like it this year. I love the idea of the Jedi that's kind of going back and forth, and he says, nope, I love this woman, I'm going to marry her, that's it. I'm really powerful, so I'll help you out, yup. But he kind of has a lot more agency than most Jedi, and I think that he avoids the pitfalls of the Jedi Council that we seem to be seeing a lot more in like the prequel material now, especially of being too strict on the dogma and a little too adherent to certain rules that neglect emotion and neglect passion. So I love the balance that Revan gives, and I never played Star Wars The Old Republic, so I don't know what all the stuff that they did with him in that game, but straight up KOTOR Revan and Book Revan I really love, with an honorable mention to Bane, because those books are amazing.
I forgot about Bane. He's a great character.
Man, you can't forget about Bane. There's an Eminem song about it. Lacey?
I think you're a little confused.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I had both of your answers as my answer. So,
oh, no.
Like, Revan is one of the coolest Star Wars characters ever. I think he has such a great storyline, and his character arc is amazing, and Bastille Shan is awesome because she's like right there with him, but like then she goes bad, but then she's good again. And that kind of stuff is cool. I grew up with Jaina too. Like Jaina Solo was
Sword
just
of the Jedi, man.
Yeah, she was just so cool, and I remember being like, she has to fight her brother, and being like, this big deal. But
and she's trained by Boba Fett. Spoiler alert, but holy crap, that is such an awesome storyline.
Because, like, you see, I grew up, obviously, with the original trilogy, and then the prequels came out when I was a little bit older, going into, like, middle school-ish. But, yeah, no, Jaina was... I remember running in 4th grade to the library to read those books where, like, Leia marries Han, and all those things with the Hutts, and then, yeah. No, so probably Jaina. She's cool.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Isn't Jaina one of the only Legends characters to be immortalized into an action figure?
She was a Black Series. Still haven't gotten it, but I hear it's out there.
Yeah.
Huh. So Andrew Bell on Twitter, man, Jaina wins. Basically, is what we're saying. So those are ideas. If you love Jaina as well, if there's someone that we are glaringly omitting, please tweet at us. Let us know what we were wrong about. Let us know what we were right about, and we will read them on next week's show. Before we get on out of here, I know we said it at the top. Lacey, where are all the multiple places people can find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, people can find me on Twitter at Lacey Gilleran, where I talk about Star Wars, like Peepka, and my love for Kylo Ren. And then Mondays and Thursdays, I'm on the Resistance broadcast, which is on Twitter at RBATSWNN, where we talk about Star Wars twice a week.
Awesome. Well, I think we did it. I think that'll do it officially for this week's episode of The Living Force. Another huge thank you to all of our new followers and possibly new listeners. Thanks to Lacey and the fine folks over at Resistance Broadcast. Thanks again for that huge shout out last week.
You guys did this on your own. Stop it. Stop.
No, stop it. After your retweet, we literally gained over 100 new followers. So that's a legitimate thank you for that.
I'm sure it was just
when you're new, it's a big deal.
And if you are new, don't forget to subscribe to this show wherever you get your podcasts and tune in every week to hear the crew at Youtini talk about the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Please leave us a review to help people find us, and head on over to youtini.com for reviews including Alphabet Squadron that just went up, articles, and comprehensive book profiles on every single story in the Star Wars galaxy. If you want your thoughts on the show, just like Andrew Bell, email us at livingforcepod@youtini.com, tweet at us at livingforcepod, or join our Youtini Discord community by going to youtini.com/discord. You can find us all individually on Twitter. I am at Eric Eilerson, Corey is at DocStarWarsMD, Lacey is at Lacey Gilleran, Resistance Broadcast at RBATSWNN, and the gloriously missed Charles is at C. Henkel. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Freddie, our tech wizard and Anaheim host, and Wes, our community manager. Thank you to Corey and Lacey for podcasting with me, and as always, may the Force be with you. Bye!
There is no hatred. There is joy. There is no division. There is union. There is no apathy. There is passion. There is no gatekeeping. There is community. This is the Youtini Star Wars Fan Code. Embrace it, live by it, and above all, trust in the living force. That's all for this week. Join our community and surround yourself with like-minded fans by visiting us online at youtini.com. Until next time, may the force be with you.